Hello everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Mike.
And I'm Sam.
I've decided to be Mike.
Oh, okay. Good decision.
There's advantages, I figure, to being Mike. There might be advantages to me being Barack Obama, but there's big disadvantages because I'm not him.
Yeah, that would be definitely considered impersonation.
True.
Identity
that
theft?
might not
I'm
be
sure.
a good decision to make. No, don't do that. So actually, you had a decision yesterday, right? Your big dinner decision. It was fried rice, it was dumplings, it was pizza, and I think you guys will probably remember you were leaning towards pizza.
I was, but I ended up choosing dumplings.
You went down the middle.
Yeah, because
I thought it was like fried rice, pizza, fried rice, pizza, pizza,
I know, but you know, pizza, the disadvantages ended up outweighing the advantages.
It was expensive and harder to get.
Yes, and the fried rice, well, I have fried rice almost every day, so I went with dumplings.
Okay, because it's easier to get than pizza and cheaper, and you're not as bored with it as you might be with fried rice. Were there any other advantages or disadvantages to choosing the dumplings?
They also delivered, so it was super easy to get.
That's good, and also nothing to clean up.
Yep.
Really, so it's nice and easy to eat. Okay, well, it worked out for you, but why didn't you think of having like a lunchbox, a biendang?
Oh, I never thought about that.
Maybe you need to work on making better decisions, or at least thinking about the lunchbox place that's right next to the dumpling place.
Yeah.
Go back there one time. All right, well, guys, we're going to look at some better decisions, and there are actually a lot of things to think about when you're making decisions. These charts we talked about yesterday are great, but big decisions take a lot more thinking than just putting things on a chart. Let's find out more.
While some decisions may need to be made quickly, most major decisions won't fall into this category. Give yourself some time to really consider your options and write down the ones that stand out to you. The next step is to weigh the advantages and disadvantages of each choice. For choices that seem particularly appealing, it can be hard to think of some downsides, so don't be afraid to ask others for their opinions. Keep in mind, however, that the decision is still yours to make, and your own morals and values should determine the result.
Welcome back. So in part one, we had looked at a couple ways to make some better decisions, looking at a flow chart and kind of the advantages and disadvantages. So now we're going to kind of get into more of the reading and see what really goes into all this decision-making process.
Okay.
Okay, so our reading is, while some decisions may need to be made quickly, most major decisions won't fall into this category. Give yourself some time to really consider your options and write down the ones that stand out to you.
Okay, well, that's actually really good advice. Making quick decisions, especially quick or fast decisions about important things, is not the best way to do it. Give your time to look at some of the options or think about some of the options. What are options? Options are basically choices. You don't have to do this one. You could do this, or you could do that, or you can do that. In a lot of things, if we look at a list of options, that'll show us what we can choose from. When it's in our own lives, we might even have other options that we didn't think of yet. You can talk to a friend and say, well, have you thought of this? And you might go, oh, yeah, I never thought of that option. But simply, options are choices. If you look at a menu in a restaurant, it's showing you all the things that you can have. Those are your options, and you'll choose 2 or 3 of those things to buy and eat. For example, working from home is an option for most people at Ian's company. So he could choose to work in the office or choose to work at home. Those choices, the things, the A, the B, the pizza, the hamburger, the things that he's thinking about, those are the options.
Yes,
all right, think about your options, because you might have more than you thought of, giving you, more things to sort of choose, or more options. The next step, it says, is to weigh the advantages and disadvantages of each choice. When we say weigh in this sense, we're not talking about putting it on a scale and seeing how many kilograms or pounds. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like, well, I could do this, I could do that. If you weigh something's importance and it's a very big importance, then we kind of think of that as being more heavy or more powerful.
Having more weight.
Or having more importance, basically. So we're talking about how important these different things are. For choices that seem particularly appealing, something you're like, yeah, that's a really good option. It's very appealing. So for choices that seem particularly appealing, it can be hard to think of some downsides. So don't be afraid to ask others for their opinions. Everyone would love to go to university in Hawaii. The weather's great, it's beautiful. There's nothing bad about going to school in Hawaii, right?
Ooh,
well,
except
actually might be some things that are bad. It's really expensive to live in Hawaii.
Super expensive to live on an island. Hawaii is a very, very expensive place.
That's right.
And also then you're kind of limited to where you can kind of go and what you can do because you're living on an island. And that's why...
But it's so appealing.
I know, but
live in Hawaii.
That's why you got to talk to other people because you might have one idea and you kind of can't go past that and you can't think of the downsides or the negatives because that option is so appealing. So we have this word appealing, which is an adjective, and it means it's attractive or it just seems like such a good option, such a good thing. So if maybe a pie looks appealing, then in that case it's attractive as far as, ooh, that looks yummy, I want to eat that.
Especially if you're hungry, it's even more appealing.
Yes, and so we have our example sentence, the book has an appealing cover, but I'm not sure if I want to read it. So you might have seen the cover and it looks so appealing enough to pick it up, but you might have turned it over and read the back and thought, doesn't sound like a good story. And now we continue on with our reading. We have, keep in mind, however, that the decision is still yours to make and your own morals and values should determine the results. So yes, talk to people, but at the end of the day, they don't have to live with the decision. You do, so make sure you still make the decision that's best for you.
Exactly, and please try not to choose things that go strongly against your morals, because your morals are your basic sense of right and wrong, right? We're not talking about law, we're not talking this is legal or illegal, we're talking about things that are right or wrong. You would think you're a good person if you do this, you're a bad or a not so good person if you do that. Everyone, when we grow up, almost from being kids, right? This isn't something you might even learn in school. It's something you learn from your parents, from your community, learning that sharing is better than being selfish, You could do that and you might not get in trouble, but is it really right to do that? That's what we're talking about, your morals, that basic, deep sense of right and wrong that people will have no matter where they come from or no matter how much they know about the law. It's not about the law. It's about your sense of right and wrong, what you think a good person would do. For example, my sister believes that people in the business world lack morals. They will do business with countries that are really not very nice to people, but they're doing it to make money. They think money is more important than morals, but I would disagree. All right, let's take a break and then we'll be back and find out how to make wise and good decisions.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。大多数重要的决定不会需要马上做出选择，所以记得要给自己时间好好考虑。同学们可以利用像第一天课文的这个流程图来辅助，先写下那些对你来说很特别、很突出、显眼的选择，然后下一步是衡量它们的优缺点。有些选择可能特别有吸引力，让你很难想到它的缺点。这时候可以试着去询问别人的意见。可是要记住，选择权还是在你身上，应该用自己的道德和价值观来做决定。好，单字 option 表示选择或是可选择的事物。appealing 它是形容具有吸引力的或是迷人的。那么 moral 它表示道德规范或者是品性。当这个意思来解释时，常用复数形。还有文中用到 weigh， 在这边不是表达重达多少公斤之类的哦 ，weigh 在这里是表达衡量的意思。那这边两个重点，进入文法时间。 好，我们来看第一个重点是 stand out， 表示突出、出色或是显眼，后面可以接介系词，像是 against、from 或是 in 等等，然后再加名词去表达在什么当中引人注目，从什么当中脱颖而出。例如 The boy's angelic voice made him stand out from the other competitors。那位男孩天使般的歌声使他从其他参赛者当中脱颖而出。下一个重点是 keep something or somebody in mind， 表示记住、牢记，把什么放在心上。那么受词比较长的时候，可以移到 mind 的后面。那如果你的受词是 that 子句的话，我们就会写作 keep in mind 加上 that 子句。我们来造两个例句。Thanks for your advice. I'll keep it in mind. 谢谢您的忠告，我会谨记在心的。Keep in mind that happiness is more important than money. 记住，快乐比金钱更重要。好，那么接着回到课文中。
If you're feeling any strong emotions surrounding your decision, write about those too. Then, once you are confident that you've covered all aspects of your decision, stop thinking about it for a while. Later, when you look at your notes again, you may feel the need to change some things, and that's okay. Making important decisions is a process that you shouldn't rush. You can apply these steps to just about any decision in your life, from choosing what subjects to study to figuring out how to deal with a bully. In the end, the goal is always to make the choice that will benefit you the most.
Welcome back from the break. So we have been looking at making decisions and how to make them and what you should do and the process behind making decisions that are really big or really important. So let's continue on with our reading with, if you're feeling any strong emotions surrounding your decision, write about those too. Then, once you are confident that you've covered all aspects of your decision, stop thinking about it for a while.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically don't make decisions when you're feeling really emotional about something. Make them when you're a little calmer, because, you know, there are many different aspects of these decisions to think about, not just the ones that you're feeling right at that moment. What is an aspect? An aspect is basically a part of something or a different way of looking at something. Generally, we're talking about a big idea, and we're taking that big idea or big topic and breaking it down into smaller ideas or smaller topics, all right? If you're making a decision about basically anything, there are lots of different things to think about. Where should I go on holiday? Well, what do you want to do? What kind of weather do you like? What kind of food do you like? Are you going to be traveling around? How easy is it to travel around in that country? These are all different aspects of the decision about your holiday that you'll have to think about so you do make a good decision. For example, food is just one aspect of a culture. Art, language, religion, tradition,
holidays,
family, you know, all sorts of things make up culture, but food is one big and delicious aspect of different cultures around the world. So, you've made your lists, you're calm, you're not emotional, you come back to it. Later, when you look at your notes again, you may feel the need to change some things, and that's okay. Absolutely. Making decisions about making decisions can lead you to making better decisions too. Making important decisions is a process that you shouldn't rush, and as we mentioned, you shouldn't also be really emotional when you make these big decisions. So calmly and coolly, that's the way to do it.
Yes. Writing them all down and writing how you feel about it, and even if you feel very emotional at that time, and saying that you feel emotional about it.
It's really important to me.
Yeah, but then you take a break.
It's maybe not important.
Yeah, take a step back, let yourself calm down, come back, read it again, and you might find, oh, actually, I don't really care about this or that. And so that's why it's so important not to rush big decisions. So rush is a verb that means to hurry something along or to go too fast or to go quickly. And so if you're rushing your decision, you might not be taking the time that you need to fully think about it, talk about it with somebody else, write out the advantages and disadvantages and kind of slow down. And so an example sentence of this, the company rushed the development of its latest product, which received a lot of bad press for its poor quality. So the company didn't fully finish the product because they were trying to go too quick, and they might have then lost some of the quality behind that product.
If you rush your homework or even rush out the door in the morning, you might make mistakes. You might forget
an umbrella.
Things. That's what happens when you rush. It's easier to make mistakes for sure.
Yes, and if we continue on with our reading, we have, you can apply these steps to just about any decision in your life, from choosing what subjects to study to figuring out how to deal with a bully. In the end, the goal is always to make the choice that will benefit you the most.
All right, I think that's a very good way of saying it.
Yeah. And so again, all this article was talking about is like, we're trying to help you learn how to make better decisions, especially when those decisions are quite difficult to make. And so let's look at our what do you think question. So we have, describe a difficult decision that you've had to make in your life. If you can't think of one, what are some examples of difficult decisions that people might need to make? So,
okay, I've got one. This is one I thought about actually over the years. One time, I was moving from England to Canada around junior high school, and I had to make a decision about whether to go to school in the city in Canada or out in the country in Canada. I had two choices. It wasn't easy, but I decided to stay in the city because in England, my school had been in the country. And I said, I want to live at home in the city. I'll go to this school. And years later, I thought, wow, at that school, I met so many different kinds of kids because it was a big city school. If I'd gone to school out in the country, I would have met a whole bunch of different kids and had a different high school experience, and it could have been a big change in my life.
Yeah, so that sounds like a really big decision that you probably thought about for quite a bit before you actually moved.
My parents were quite careful to say, think carefully about this, so I did.
Yeah, and that's an example of how making a decision that's so important can change your whole life, how you can kind of use some time beforehand to think it through and really come to a good decision for you.
That's right. Quick, rushed decisions are rarely the best decisions that you'll be able to make. All right, thanks for making the decision to join us, everyone. That was a very wise decision. Well done, well done. And we'll see you back here very soon for more great articles. Until then, be well. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
如果对自己的决定有任何强烈情绪，你都可以把这些情绪写下来。那当你确定已经涵盖了这个决定的所有层面，就暂时别再想了。等之后回头来看笔记，也许又会想要改一点东西，这也没关系。事先呢，多花点时间谨慎考虑，绝对不要仓促做决定。Sam 老师刚刚用到 beforehand。就是在 before 后面加上 hand 构成这个副词，可以表达事先、预先或是提前。那么单字 aspect 表示方面、层面。Rush 在这边当动词，表示仓促行事或者是急急忙忙做某事。好，那么课文最后写到，你可以将这些步骤应用在生活中几乎任何的决定，从选择要学习的科目，到想出要如何面对霸凌者。总之啊，目标都是要做出对你最有利的选择。那这边3个重点，进入文法时间。好，来看第一个重点是 apply something to something， 是表达把什么应用到什么上面，像是Apply what you've learned to this project， 将你所学的应用到这个报告上面哦。那么第二重点是 from A to B， 表示从 A 到 B 都有 A 跟 B 的词性必须相同，像是 The shop sells everything from T-shirts to laptops， 那间店什么都卖，从短袖上衣到笔记型电脑应有尽有。第3个重点是 WH 疑问词加上不定词 to V 的用法。WH 疑问词像 what, when, how 等等，后面可以接不定词 to V 来构成名词片语。那这个名词片语在句中可以当受词用哦。例如 I don't know how to play the instrument， 我不知道该如何弹奏这种乐器。How to play the instrument 就是当受词用。那么以上是今天讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
While some decisions may need to be made quickly, most major decisions won't fall into this category. Give yourself some time to really consider your options and write down the ones that stand out to you. The next step is to weigh the advantages and disadvantages of each choice. For choices that seem particularly appealing, it can be hard to think of some downsides, so don't be afraid to ask others for their opinions. Keep in mind, however, that the decision is still yours to make, and your own morals and values should determine the result. If you're feeling any strong emotions surrounding your decision, write about those too. Then, once you are confident that you've covered all aspects of your decision, stop thinking about it for a while. Later, when you look at your notes again, you may feel the need to change some things, and that's okay. Making important decisions is a process that you shouldn't rush. You can apply these steps to just about any decision in your life, from choosing what subjects to study to figuring out how to deal with a bully. In the end, the goal is always to make the choice that will benefit you the most.
Hello, I'm Matt.
And I'm Jamie.
Today we're going to play Guess the Bear. We each have 3 cards with sentences on them where the vocabulary words are replaced with the word bear. And we have 1 minute each to guess all 3 words or phrases on the cards. So do you want to go first?
Sure, I guess I will.
Okay,
All right.
Ready? Let's go. Okay, first one is a noun. Fables often have a bear of the story. Philosophy discusses some tricky bear questions.
Morals?
That's right. Next one is another one-word noun. The war affected every bear of their lives. The bear ratio of my computer is 16:9.
Aspect?
Yes. Okay, next one is an adjective. The idea of moving abroad is very bare. The food looks very bare.
Tempting?
Almost like not quite.
Interesting? Wait, no. Tempting? What was this in there? Tempting. Can you say it again?
The idea of moving abroad is very bare.
Alluring? Okay, go ahead.
The food looks very bare.
Inviting?
It's a synonym.
Inviting, appealing?
Yes! Oh, okay. We're still with some time on the clock. Yeah, you were saying all the words that have the same meaning, but not the right one.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Okay, one-word verb. I bared out of the house and forgot my keys. And my sister quickly bared home when she heard the news.
Ran?
Close.
Rushed?
Yeah, good.
Okay.
All right, one word, noun. This menu has a lot of vegetarian bears, and quitting is not unbear.
Choice? No. Options.
Good, yeah, all right. And then one phrase, 2 words. The orange letters really bear on the blue background, and your application should bear from the rest.
Did she say one more time?
Yep, the orange letters really bear on the blue background, and your application should bear from the rest.
Does it stand out?
Yes, it is! Yay! Good job.
Right there. I just couldn't think of the right words at first.
Yeah, good. Wow, everyone doing good.
Wow.
See you next time.